Welcome to SuperCoach and welcome to the weekend preview. Just before we get stuck into it, you might have seen the video the other day. I have launched my Instagram account, so just shorties_supercoach. So get onto that. Obviously, that page is still sort of growing a bit, but hopefully that can get quite a few followers as well, because that'll have completely different stuff to what the YouTube channel does. Obviously, the content will remain basically the same on the YouTube channel, but just a bit more, live stuff, obviously with the stories and a bit of behind the scenes stuff. So hopefully people might find that a little bit interesting as well. So get along to that and check it out if you like. Give it a follow. But look, this weekend, it's a pretty important one. Clearly, changing in the prices is upon us, and that's really when you want to make sure that anything you may have missed or got wrong initially in your squad, you certainly want to correct those. And just quickly looking at the teams, nothing too major. I mean, Cam O'Shea's out. I don't think that'd affect too many. Zach Langdon, he's out for a month. Darcy Fogarty's been dropped. That probably hurts a few. Matt Crouch, he's a guy who's going to have to go. Definitely hurts a few. Hunter Clark being dropped. And, of course, James Sicily, the suspension for 1 week. In comes Cruiser. Obviously, that's good for some. There'll be a good battle between he and Grundy on the Friday night. Caulfield into the side. David Mira has been named on the bench, and Jack Higgins is named on the bench, but has been said that he will debut. So there's certainly a little bit to think about there. I think first things first, you want to make sure, as I said, if you got anything wrong, you really want to correct it. Mainly focusing on the rookies. I think in terms of premiums, I'd be patient more often than not with them. I think you've done all the research, so to ditch them after 2 weeks, unless they're going horribly or they've got a niggle or maybe there's a change in their position which you maybe didn't anticipate, then you can offload them. But if a guy's just started somewhat sluggish, be patient. If you think he's going to be a quality player down the track, but he has started slow, then we've just got to swallow that pill. It's disappointing that they haven't caught fire from the start, but you have picked them to be a premium, so you may as well hold on to them unless there's something drastic. But it's really those rookies that we've got to get, because that's the name of this game, is making money and building that cash flow up, which can allow us to have rookies raise in price. You can downgrade to them, to guys who are coming into teams midway through the season and other stages. And then for our guys who have already appreciated nicely in value, we can use that coin to upgrade them to a premium. So that's what it's all about. So you cannot afford to miss the boat on some must-have rookies. So who are we looking at? Obviously, Tommy Duday in the back line is one. Finlayson is another. Kelly, Holman, if you don't have them, you've got to get those guys. Bailey Fritz is probably another one that I think we've just got to get on board, considering the forward line rookies are looking pretty slim. You could probably throw Liam Ryan into that category as well. I wouldn't expect too many hundreds from here on out. I wouldn't expect too many 90s. Let's not get carried away with his scoring ability. I still don't envision great averages. He's just as likely to come out and score 40 again this season. But the fact is, or this weekend I should say, but the fact is, he's got that 115. He's going to receive 2 price rises from that. All we can hope for is that, it's there for us. So, if we're looking at other guys who haven't scored tons and haven't got the points on the board, it's still a bit of guesswork and a bit of risk. I mean, Liam Ryan, he's got those points there. Break even of -84. He's going up. There's no doubt about it. I think we can basically bank on him reaching about 300k soon enough. So I think that's fair, particularly with the lack of forward line options. So that's pretty much what you want to do. A lot of people talking about Aaron Norton in the back line. Obviously hasn't been the greatest scoring wise. His job security looks good. I think a lot of people might be thinking, maybe Lockie Murphy might be a guy to get in it. I can understand that. Murphy coming off an 80, looks to be finding a spot in that Adelaide Crows lineup. So I couldn't blame you there, because you pocket about 60k to a guy who's scoring quite a number more points. So I could understand that as well. But look, you might even want to just hold Norton, get him to, even if he just goes up 50, 60, 70k, and then David Mira, you can again, Mira is 102k, you might be able to get a little bit more. But it's horses for courses in terms of how your team is set up as well. Guys like Sam Murray, Don Barry, Banfield, Brayshaw, Davies Uniacke and those types, they're not must-haves, but they're guys who are going okay and others to think about. The main thing is you don't want any zeros, aside from maybe your R3 at this point in time. No zeros. You want all the guys scoring. So I think that's clear. Zach Langdon will miss a month, so clearly he's got to go. So I think that's a very obvious one. And James Sicily, is a really interesting one. I think a lot of people will be wondering, umming and ahhing what they do with him. Now, not only does he miss 1 week, but he only scored 60 odd. So all of a sudden we've seen one outstanding game and then one not so good game. Being at the match, watching it, I thought he was going much better than that. I'm not sure whether he gave away a couple of threes or something, or 50, I don't know. But to me it looked like an 80 to 90 game, but obviously not. So where does that leave it with him? You've got someone like Shane Savage, who isn't too far up, Jake Lloyd as well. You could go to Riley Bonner if you wanted to go down. Heath Shaw's going much better than anticipated. My advice would be to more so sit in the hold camp. I would be thinking hold him, because I think he is going to be a guy who averages in the 90s, but it is going to come in that manner. It's going to be a 120 then a 70. It's going to be a 130 and a 65. You know, we're going to get that. You will get the 3 to 4 week period where he's quite consistent, and hopefully that becomes more and more of a common occurrence as the season goes on. But I still think at this stage of his career, we are going to see those outstanding games, and we are going to see the odd one where it's not so good. It's not going to be your Cade Simpson style of 85 to 115 almost every week. So it's not going to be that nice little reliable ride, but he will get you the big ones. You also might cop a bit of a harsh one. But look, I don't have him, but I would be in the camp of holding him. So hopefully that doesn't hurt you too much in the points, but he is only missing 1 week. So we don't want to just burn trades too much, because I think Sicily has shown enough to say, look guys, I am going to be a good scorer. I may not be, 3 figures, but I'm going to be good enough to keep in the side your whole season. So I think even if he ends up being your D5 or D6, I think you've got him now. You may as well hold on to him, because the only reason I would say trade is if maybe his scoring was saying, well, look, he's missing anyway, and I'm not sure he's going to be a top 6, top 8 defender. I think we can have a reasonable amount of confidence. So weigh up how it all fits and works into your side. Again, it might help you elsewhere if you need to free up coin or you need to do something else. It might help to offload him. But if we're just purely looking at him, that would be my advice. Matt Crouch, what do we do with him? Well, I think probably someone like Clayton Oliver is a nice option, who's absolutely flying. He's about, I think, almost a similar price, not far off. And look, if you can get up to Tommy Mitchell as well, which isn't too far of a jump, then clearly do that as well. They're 2 guys that you really want to look at. Dustin Martin, Nat 5, Paddy Cripps, all guys that I think we've got to have our hands on at this point in time before they really, get away from you. So look, I think they're players we certainly should be looking at too. And a lot of people will have Fogarty. Again, you're probably just going to have to bring in who's available really, because there's not a stack of options in the forward line. Maybe it's one of those young Eagles. Maybe you take a punt on Higgins, but the fact is he's been dropped. You just never know when a bloke's going to come back into the side once they're dropped. So I would be, as annoying as it is, maybe give him 1 week, unless you're weighing up a guy who's about to jump in value. If you're looking at a Higgins or something like that, then clearly wait a while. That shouldn't do you too much harm, but you just don't know. Fogarty could come back next week. We might not see him till later in the season. It's very hard to tell. So I think that just about covers it off. I mean, all I can really say to you guys is make sure you don't miss any boats that are going up, way up in value, because you'll just be left behind. You don't win SuperCoach or your SuperCoach leagues in the first 2 to 3 weeks. It's really about making sure you have those guys that can then allow you to really get going in that sort of, rounds 5, 6 and onwards, when you really start to upgrade your side. Your side can be going great guns, but if you've missed a few rookies, or a few other blokes have made much more coin and you've missed those, you get to round 6 or 7 and you just don't have the cash to play with to allow you to continually upgrade and improve your side. So it's so important to make sure that happens for you guys. So don't miss any of those. I don't think anyone will have too many massive injury problems. A few people talking about Bont as well. He's one guy I've been thinking about. I would, as I said with premiums, I'd keep the faith with him, hold on and see how he goes. I think he's certainly a guy who'll bounce back for good numbers. But look, that just about sums it up, guys. Hopefully you have a good week in SuperCoach. Hopefully you get on board and give the Instagram account a follow. I'm very interested to see how that goes. I'll certainly look to be doing some story action on the Friday night, so stay tuned for that, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.